Hey guys, it's time for another review. This time, God of War Ghost of Sparta for the PSP. Just came out on Tuesday, and I had a bit of a hard time tracking it down. Um, Best Buy, I didn't see it there, and Toys R Us didn't have it, so I ended up going to GameStop, and luckily, I didn't need a pre-order for it, and I got my hands on the game. Now, I wanted to get this review up quickly, and by now it's God of War. If you're a fan of the series, you should already own this. No excuses. If you're a fan of the series, stop this review, and if you don't own this, buy it now. It's totally worth the purchase price. Now I played it on the Mortal mode, easy mode, because I wanted to get my feel for the game, get all the way through the game, have the ability to explore, at my leisure without actually, having to fear what I could be fighting. And that's basically what I do with all God of War games. Play it on the easiest mode and just cruise through the game, see how long it is on easy, yada yada yada. See what I can find. It took me, my final save time was like 4 hours, like 31 minutes, without adding on, the credits and taking on the final boss. So roughly, it's about a 5-hour game, give or take, depending on how quickly you move through it, and depending how good you are at God of War. And I would say that that's about the average length for most God of War games, especially, it's on the PSP, and I gotta say, it is, I don't know if you guys can see, some of these graphics, but this game, is brutal. Its graphics just the best I've seen on the PSP, rivals that of Crisis Core and Dissidia, and it's definitely better than Chains of Olympus. The story is, it takes place between God of War 1 and God of War 2, and it's all about, spoilers, it's all about Kratos finding his long-lost brother, Deimos. If you've played God of War 1, you'll know that there's, one of the in-game secrets was they thought about, Kratos' brother being in Hades and stuff like that. Well, he's in the domain of death and you have to free him, and basically it's about Kratos trying to overcome the memories that are haunting him still, even though, we learn at the end of the God of War 1, the gods never promised to take away the sins that he's committed, and well, it kind of elaborates on that a little bit, and it's basically setting up for how Kratos became a god, actually, because he's still mortal in this one, and he becomes the God of War at the end of the game, and that's where God of War 2 starts. Some interesting things about this game. You don't really have a whole lot of range of magic and weapons. You do get the typical lightning type of magic. You do get a wind type, like vortex void like magic spell. You get, what else? There's an ice thing that freezes your enemies. You don't get anything to, stone like Medusa stuff, but you do get something to ice, and it's pretty much the same effect. What's cool, instead of the rage of the Spartans, or rage of the Titans, or rage of the gods, or whatever it is that you typically get in the main games, you have a third meter called a fire meter, and basically you'll be utilizing the blades of, I think he's using the blades of Athena because they're golden. You basically hold down R and it starts draining the fire gauge while the blades catch on flames. They catch a flame on fire, and you can start breaking armor, and you can break open doors with it, and it's really cool, especially considering the game takes you from Atlantis, which is pure water, to how do I describe it? It's like this big mountain of ice, and you fight all these really interesting things there, and you get to use fire there, and then you go to Sparta, which is really cool. You go to all sorts of the place. God of War Ghost of Sparta really expands even more on the mythology of the Greek culture and its mythology, and really that's what God of War is all about. That's what made God of War so successful, and how it spawned 3 sequels and a prequel. And actually, I think there's a cell phone game called Betrayal, and that's another prequel, I think. Personally, I hope the series is done after this, because it suffers from the stagnation of the series, no doubt. If you've played all of the God of War games, or you've played a God of War game, you pretty much know how to beat this game. It's not that difficult. Puzzles aren't particularly too interesting as opposed to God of War 3's MC Escher type maze. That was cool. I'm digressing. Puzzles are pretty simple. Enemies are pretty simple. Some infuriating ones. A lot of cool new ones that I think are cool. But in the end, you get to the point where you're just recycling enemies, and they just get a little tougher and blah blah blah. But you do get a lot of use out of the secondary weapon, the Arms of Sparta, and that's cool. That's got some interesting techniques. But really, I found myself using the Blades of Athena, which with the fire the most. It's just freaking cool. Oh, what else? You do fight more bosses. Yeah, you fight. I think you fight at least 3 bosses, just like Chains of Olympus. But I know you fight Deimos, and I think there might be one more boss. They added more bosses, more like mini bosses than they did in Chains of Olympus. And they really expanded it. It's about 20 to 30% longer, roughly. It's about an hour longer than Chains of Olympus. Even though it only took me about 5 hours to get through the game, it really felt like 10 hours. So that's a good thing. But again, like I said, it suffers from the stagnation of the series. In terms of extras, there's, of course, the Challenge of the Gods. There's the combat arena. You get all sorts of collectibles throughout the game, like you get in most of them, especially God of War 3, where you get to play through the game again, and it gives you special bonuses. Let's see. There's the Temple of Zeus, which basically you take the red orbs that you gain throughout playing the game, and you spin them to get unlock stuff, and that's really cool. But some of them, most of them are between 15 and 25,000 red orbs. Some of them are like in 40, 50, 60, 95 thousand red orbs. So I think I'm gonna go back and play through it again on easy, utilizing the 10 times so much red orbs thing and all the other collectibles I got. And I think I'm just gonna buy all those things to check those out. So, one other thing, if you buy it, I don't know if all of them will have it, but I definitely know that these have them. The first batch includes the Deimos skin for God of War 3, which is an unlockable skin for Kratos in that game. So you get a free promotional code for that, and I haven't tested that out, but it's probably badass. For God of War, it's definitely better than Chains of Olympus. It's hard to say it's better than God of War 3, but God of War 3 is just separated from itself from the series completely. It's on a whole different scale. Can't even compare it. You either love it, hate it, or it's somewhere in between, and it's still an awesome game. But I'm totally digressing. Let me get to the point. For my review of God of War Ghost of Sparta for the PSP, it's an absolute must-have. If you've played any of the God of War games and you own a PSP, buy this game. You will not regret it. If you're a God of War aficionado, pick it up. This game is a solid 8.5 out of 10, and if it wasn't as monotonous because of the series stagnation, it would easily get a 9 or even 9.5 if there's a little extra content. Or if the story was a little bit more fleshed out. But in result, I'm giving it a solid 8.5 out of 10. God of War Ghost of Sparta. It's an awesome game. Pick it up.